Hello, welcome to StereoWise Plus. We cover news and do hands-on product reviews of consumer electronics. And we are really excited for the review we have here tonight. It is some in-wall speakers from RBH. Now, if you're not as excited as we are, hopefully you saw the title of the review that we're doing and are as excited as we are. If you're not, well, let me go ahead and explain. In-wall speakers are something that typically is hard to find reviews on, just because oftentimes reviewers aren't in a position to review in-wall speakers. Well, with the situation we're in with the virus and COVID-19 and the quarantine, everyone's been it's been a hard time for everybody, and I'm sure we, just like many of you, have worked our way through several of the trilogies, whether it be Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, whichever you're into, or just binge watching Netflix. You may have realized that your home theater equipment may be a little subpar for what you would like. So we're focusing on doing products reviews for home theater equipment, and we happen to be in the process of also upgrading our equipment in our home theater in our basement, so we were in a position to be able to do in-wall review. And like most of you, when it comes to spending your hard-earned money, you want to make sure that you get something that's a quality product. And with our economy, it's also nice to have it made here in the US. And the product here that we have for review with RBH, it actually satisfies both of those requirements. Not only is it a really high quality product, but it's also made here in the US. RBH, they have a couple different product lines. They have their Visage line, which has a couple of sub-series in that line, and they also have their Signature line, which also has a couple subcategories. In their Signature line, they have the standard Signature, and then they have their top-of-the-line Reference. And that's what we're going to be covering today, is some products from their Reference line. Their Signature Reference line, compared to the standard Reference line, they use upgraded drivers with larger power handling versus the standard series. And so the one that we have in for review today is the SI-760R. The models that they have in the Reference line, it starts off with the 740R, which is a single woofer and a single tweeter. When you step up to the 760R, you go to an MTM design where you have two woofers and a tweeter. Based on this design, you can actually mount it in either a horizontal or vertical. When you step up one more further to the SI-660R, you add an additional tweeter and woofer. And they have a couple models additional over that, the 6100R and the 831R that you can see on their website. In their Reference line, it comprises of a couple different components. They're actually in-wall speakers, but not only are they in-wall, but they also have a cabinet. When it comes to speakers, you get the best sound from having a speaker that's enclosed. When you think of standard speakers, you think of bookshelf speakers, which obviously come with a cabinet. But in-wall speakers, you don't always find a cabinet that they install into, and that's really how you get the best sound. So with their Reference line, it's not only the speakers themselves, but they also come with a cabinet that they install into. The cabinet is designed to mount right in between your studs, so it's 3.5 inches thick, perfect width for being installed in between the studs. And then the baffle itself sticks out, so when you drywall over the sides of the cabinet. They have a nice little metal surrounding here that surrounds and protects the baffle. So it's a really great design. The baffle comes out when you're during the installation process to protect your speakers. You mount the cabinet, you do your drywall, and then when your wall is done, then you can mount the baffle back into the cabinet. The cabinet is a really strong design. It's made of 3/4 inch thick MDF, which is ideal material for our speaker cabinets. And if you look inside a little bit, it even has internal bracing, so it's a very well made cabinet. It also includes polyfill, and the cabinet itself is also tuned to the individual speakers. So whichever model you're looking at getting, the cabinet that comes with it is tuned for that particular model. So now let's go ahead and tune to the, and as far as the cabinet goes, I really like the design. Okay, so, and when it comes to the design of the cabinet, the only thing that I really would have liked to see a little bit better is the the connectors on the end. It's just a standard push down connector, which given at this price point, I would have liked to see something a little better than that, but it works. Now, in talking about the speaker drivers themselves, I'm really impressed with the Baffle. Again, it's got a really thick 3/4 inch MDF that's painted black. Really beautiful look. The really good quality of the build and the finish. They really did an excellent job. This is their top of the line model, and it clearly shows. Made here in the U.S. And they use two different drivers. There's the Woofer and the tweeter. The Woofer is a aluminum cone, and then for the tweeter, that's an AMT designed tweeter. The AMT tweeter was co-designed with Armis Cantus. It has a similar sound to ribbon tweeters. It's really transparent, natural sounding, extremely detailed, and you get great air and an incredible soundstage. And the design of the AMT, unlike a ribbon tweeter, it actually has folds in the material itself. So you actually get a larger surface area that translates into greater dynamics and increased power handling as well. For the 6.5 inch woofer, it's an upgraded model compared to the standard woofer in their signature series. You get a phase plug, which increases the voice coil cooling and also gives smoother details in the higher frequencies. And turning over to the back, you can see it's got a larger magnet for increased power handling. You've got a bumped pole piece at the back that actually increases voice coil excursion. So not only does that give greater power handling capacity, but it also gives greater excursion for increased dynamics, and which when it comes to movies is really important. I also really like it's got a metal cast basket, really high quality. In the crossover network, you've got a nice gold-plated push-pull connectors, real high quality coils, caps, resistors, and I love they also include really high gauge wiring. It looks like it's either a 10 or 12 gauge wiring. The crossover network is also modified to take advantage of the improved reference drivers for the improved power handling for the woofer driver and the different AMT tweeter that's not found on their standard signature series. So all in all, this is a really excellent design, really well made, high quality. Very impressed and can't wait to hear how they sound. Well, thanks for watching. Please like and please subscribe, and please stay tuned to the full review of the speaker. We'll also be doing a review of the installation process for how they're installed, as well as the sound. Thanks again.